And we can't really talk about the Royal Rumble without talking about the Royal Rumble match. We can't really get into that and not talk about the road to WrestleMania, the biggest pay-per-view event of the year. And I have a few frontrunners as well as dark horses to win each match. I'm talking about both of the Royal Rumble matches here. I'm talking about the men's match and the women's match. So let's get into the women's match first. I got my first 5 frontrunners and my dark horse to win it all for the women's side of things. And I have my list here on the side, so excuse me if I turn a little bit. But you've got women's champion Becky Lynch, who I think is going to hold the title until at least WrestleMania, so she's going to be one of the champions that this winner will have a shot at. And then you have Charlotte Flair on the other side of SmackDown. And when you look at the SmackDown side of things, in terms of the women's roster, there's not many options for them to take the title off of Charlotte Flair right now. So, my number 1 pick is, and I'm hoping this happens because it would make me so damn happy to see her back on a WWE ring. She really got shortchanged because she got injured at the highest point of her career up until now. And of course, I'm talking about the former hugger, Bayley. Ding dong, she's back and she wins the Royal Rumble match. And if you ask me, I think if Bayley comes back and she wins that match, I think her first opponent or her first choice for the women's title match should be against Becky Lynch. Should be trying to beat the man, because if Bayley returns, she's gonna do it as a babyface. The fans are gonna cheer that like you've never seen it before. And we've already seen Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. I don't want to see that at WrestleMania again. I don't. I'd much rather see Charlotte Flair versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. If you want 2 big names at WrestleMania for the title, I'd rather see that. But nonetheless, I digress. So, my number 1 frontrunner is Bayley. Now, my number 2 choice is another one who's returning, and as a matter of fact, she's returning this upcoming Monday night on Raw. I'm talking about Little Miss Bliss, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss has quite a fan base. And she had quite a character turn last year with The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. But if you ask me, that runs over. And if she returns, she has to do it in a new and improved manner. Which means maybe not back to being Little Miss Bliss or that 5 Feet of Fury that she once was. But again, don't come back as the Fiend knockoff that you were, because that really got stale and boring and silly at the end of it. But again, Alexa Bliss, if she returns, she'll be a babyface. Fans will cheer her. Now, my number 3 option is someone who I think is a complete badass of a woman. And she's been handicapped currently in WWE because she's been placed in a tag team, forcibly placed in a tag team, just to keep the storylines rolling. And I call that a placeholder, which isn't the best place to be. Just like in day 1, you had a placeholder feud for Drew McIntyre against Madcap Moss. Well, we're talking about Rhea Ripley, who was the runner-up at last year's Women's Royal Rumble match. And I honestly don't see why she can't win this upcoming Women's Royal Rumble match and go for a rematch against Charlotte Flair, which is a great storyline to begin with, because again, she lost to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania in front of 0 Zip fans, but now it's a different stage. It's a... Or she can manhandle the man and put big-time Bex out of her misery, and we can have a badass Raw Women's Champion rule Monday Night Raw leading into Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, which is a feud and rivalry that everyone wants to see at this point. Number 4, let's bring up the Empress of Tomorrow. Let's bring her back. Number 4, she had an undefeated streak. She is one of the most entertaining acts, period, that WWE had during the pandemic era. Whether that was inside the ring or not, it didn't matter. Asuka brought it, and we appreciated it. So why not have her win the Royal Rumble match, a match that she has won in the past, and go on to challenge Becky Lynch, someone that I believe Asuka has never beaten for the title. And my last front runner for the Royal Rumble match, and I get it. I did this kind of backwards, whereas I should have gone 5-1. I went 1-5, but I'll modify that for my men's. But number 5 would be Sasha Banks, who unfortunately got injured at a live event currently, so I'm not sure how long she's going to be out. I'm not even sure if she's going to make it to the Royal Rumble match. But the Boss is the kind of superstar that you want winning these types of matches. Enough said. And my dark horse. Now, one of the categories I had for my dark horse is that they could not be a part of the current Raw. Excuse me. They couldn't be a part of the Raw and SmackDown rosters. They had to be in developmental. They had to come out of nowhere, completely out of nowhere, like the RKO, and win this match. So one of the candidates I had 3 candidates on the women's side. I had, well, actually 4. I had Dakota Kai, who I think needs a complete reset of her character and of her career in NXT. There's no way they're going to make her NXT Women's Champion over there anytime soon, so why not have her come into WWE and make a splash? I mean, clearly, in the past, they had Toni Storm be a heel in NXT, then she made her debut on the WWE main roster, and she was a babyface. So that doesn't really matter to the creative writers in WWE. So why not bring Dakota Kai in? But that's not my front runner. You have Io Shirai, badass wrestler, can go in the ring. She put on quite a hell of a matchup with either of the women's champions in WWE today. Looking forward to that, if that were to happen. You got Mandy Rose, who has really improved, who has really upped her game, and for the most part, she would be unrecognizable to the main audience in WWE because she's been doing quite a lot of different things on NXT as of lately, and she's a current NXT Women's Champion, so she has that going for her. And come on, you're gonna tell me you don't want to see Toxic Attraction on the main roster? So we got that. But my front runner on the NXT side of things is someone who would strike complete fear into the eyes of Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch and whoever else might end up being women's champion at WrestleMania. I'm talking about, I might be mistaken if they don't call her that, but it's Big Mommy Cool, Raquel Gonzalez. I think that at the end of the day, if they have Raquel Gonzalez in NXT for way too long, and they don't have her beat Mandy Rose for the title and gain her title back, that ultimately hurts Raquel. So why not bring her back into the main roster? Well, not back. Bring her up to the main roster. And we can get things going. We could really refresh, especially this side of things on SmackDown. I mean, a lot of fans want to see Charlotte Flair get her ass kicked, and who better to kick her ass than Raquel Gonzalez? So those are my 5 front runners and my dark horse for the women's side of things.